Good morning, Parkside. Welcome to this week's encouragement video. Thanks for tuning in. This morning, I want to give you encouragement from Colossians chapter 3. Let me read it to you and then explain what I mean by that. Colossians 3:16. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. The word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching, admonishing, in all wisdom, singing psalms, hymns, spiritual songs, with thankfulness in your hearts to God. Parkside, this past Sunday, when we had our prayer meeting and we opened it up and had a time of reading God's word and praying, what I heard from you that encouraged me deeply was the word of Christ dwelling richly in you. Not dwelling at a surface level, but dwelling richly into your soul. And as we heard from young people and from old people, some reading on a physical Bible, some reading on a smartphone, some reciting from memory, I was so encouraged by hearing those words of Christ dwelling richly in your hearts. And I would just encourage you today, think of how can I allow the word of Christ to dwell richly in my heart. Maybe you've got a bit of a drive time, or you'll be doing some tasks around the house or at work that don't require a great deal of mental effort, and you can fixate and focus on one Bible verse. Or maybe over lunch today, you can write out a favorite verse of yours just to put it fresh on your mind. Maybe over dinner as you sit down, it says the word of Christ dwelling richly leads to thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whomever you eat dinner with, you can say, could I tell you one way I'm grateful to God today? Personally, we are called to let the word of Christ dwell in us richly. I was so encouraged on Sunday by seeing that in you. We were together as pastors last night, praying over one another and over the congregation and considering how God would lead us forward. And we had our Bibles open at a couple of points in prayer. I saw that happening there as well. And it has strengthened my soul to be a part of a community like that and to see a church community like that. And Park said, I know you will be encouraged if you will simply take a couple of steps to allow the word of Christ to dwell in you richly, to share it with someone else, and to sing about it. That's what Colossians 3:16 says. So maybe on your drive, you just you get your phone going on a song that you love, a hymn perhaps, and you sing in the car with gratefulness to God. It'll help the word of Christ to dwell in you richly. Parks, and I love you. I'm excited. This coming Sunday, we get to be in 1 Timothy 3, verses 14 through 16. It's a short little stanza of what we think is an old hymn, one of the original hymns of the Christian faith, going very back to the start of the church, and just some lofty exaltation of Christ. And I'm excited to dig into 3 short verses with you. Hope you'll read ahead, think through those, and invite a friend who may not know Christ or may be unchurched. It'll be a great way for them to be introduced to Jesus in 1 Timothy 3:14 to 16. Parks, I love you. We'll see you Sunday.